Hi, welcome to Naptime Nutrition. This is Yaffi Lvova, registered dietitian nutritionist and owner of Baby Bloom Nutrition. I'm running 2 minutes late because my child is actually napping today and I was just putting him down. Today we're talking about the acid ash, alkaline ash diet. Hi, Dr. Bhattar, thanks for joining. Always welcome to hear your comments. This is a really big thing now with the acid-based diet, and is your water alkalized? It's this whole thing, and I don't know if it's a multi-million-dollar industry as of yet, but these waters are extremely expensive. And is it making a difference? Should you go out and buy water with a pH of 10? And does it actually have a pH of 10 anyway? So first we're going to start with the diet is known as the alkaline diet, the acid alkaline diet, or the alkaline ash diet. And the idea basically is that when you eat something, it's got a pH. It's either acidic, it's alkaline, or it's neutral. And when you eat it, your body burns it up. Figuratively, it's not actually a fire, as I've talked about, but if you were to take, let's say lemon, for example, it's an acidic food. If you were to burn a lemon, it would create ash, just like you have ash in your fireplace, for example. Is the pH of that ash alkaline or acidic, and how does it affect your body? Lemon, for example, an acidic food, when you burn it, actually produces an alkaline ash, which means it's an alkaline food. So think about that. It's not so simple, and I'm going to tell you about why this information is important, and it's not as simple as people are making it out to be. So the idea of the diet is that you replace acid-forming foods with alkaline-forming foods, and that is supposed to change the pH of your body and make it less hospitable to certain disease states and inflammation. And as I said, it's really not that simple. And I'm going to give you, in case you're a 3-second viewer, the bite-size amount you're supposed to take away from this. It's good to have real foods. The science behind the alkaline ash diet is really bunk, but it gives some good points. So as I said, you burn food, it creates ash. The impact of the pH of that ash on your body is the idea. The idea is that acid ash produces disease. Alkaline ash produces health, and that's why you should alkalize your diet. And I'm going to say it again, not that simple. So the acidic foods are supposedly meat, fish, dairy, eggs, grains, and alcohol, although red and white wine are actually have a decreased acid load. So that throws a wrench in that right away. I'm trying to get some better lighting. I look like a ghost. The alkaline foods are fruits and vegetables, nuts and legumes, and neutral foods are naturally occurring fats, nuts, fats, starches, and natural sugars. So that's the rundown, the basic rundown for you of where the foods fall. Can food affect pH of your body? And this is a very complicated issue because does your body have a pH? No, your body does not have a pH. Different parts of your body have different levels of acid. For example, your skin has an acidic pH of 4 to 6.5, and that's so that your body is protected from certain pathogens, certain microbes that are possibly going to do you some harm. Your stomach has an acid of 1.35 to 3.5, which is extremely acidic. You have the hydrochloric acid in there, and the purpose of that acid, it's very important, is to help break down food, help to wash it off of those microbes that could really harm you. And immediately behind that, in the digestive system, you have bile and pancreatic secretions, which are going to be alkaline to counteract that base, to counteract that acid, so that your body can actually absorb those nutrients. So that acidity is very important, and the alkalinity is also very important, and they work in harmony. And you're going to find that in everything your body does, is that one organ does this, one organ does this, and they both have to do their jobs in order for you to survive and be healthy. So that's where your acid alkaline comes in, as far as is your body alkaline. So let's talk about some other places. Your blood, the alkalinity and acidity of your blood, it is slightly alkaline at 7.35 to 7.45. If you go anywhere outside of that range, you are in trouble. It's a very big deal. You have alkalosis or acidosis, and you get into metabolic versus respiratory, it gets very complicated. But in the hospital, you see that when people are in dire straits, that's when the blood goes outside of that 7.35 to 7.45. So if you eat a lemon, which is acidic, but then truly alkaline, how does it affect your blood? It doesn't. It does not affect your blood. Your body has so many checks to make sure that your blood stays between that 7.35 and 7.45. Nothing is going to change that unless you are seriously ill. So let that absorb for a second. Nothing's going to change it. Your body regulates that very much because it's your blood. It's the most important thing in your body. And anything outside of that very specific range is trouble. So no, a lemon is not going to affect that. So alkaline water. Let's talk specifically about alkaline water. You can go to fill in the blank supermarket at this point and buy alkaline water, which is supposedly has a pH of 10. Well, number one, there have been numerous studies where the pH of these various brands of water has been tested, and one of them might be alkaline. One of them might be actually a pH of 10. So that's the first issue. Number one is that the water is not alkaline that you're buying. You're spending 3-4 times the amount of money on water that frankly tastes pretty awful generally, and it doesn't even have what it's advertising. The other side of that is it important? No matter what you believe, we have been on this earth for a very long time, and there are millions of species of different animals and plants on this earth, and we have been nourished by water. That is the one thing that has held constant to every life being on this planet is water. Tell me that for however long this earth has been here, water is wrong. It's not. Water is supposed to be somewhat neutral. It's like the definition of neutral. It's around a pH of 7, and that's what it's supposed to be. So some could make the argument that alkaline water might be beneficial during certain types of chemotherapy. I'm not talking about disease state, and I'll make a disclaimer at the end. I am talking about your average healthy individual. Should you go out to Whole Foods and buy alkaline water? And the answer is no, because it's not going to do anything for your body. It's not going to change the pH of your blood, as I previously discussed. It's not going to benefit your health in any way. Water, great. Drink a lot of water. Just don't spend the extra money for something that's mislabeled and not beneficial at all anyway. So back to the general idea of pH. Food can affect urine pH. So if you are going to be one of these people who has pH strips and you test your urine, that's fine. Go ahead. It's going to indicate whether your foods are more acidic or alkaline. But does it matter? This comes back to the question, does it matter? Is urine pH an accurate indicator of health? And studies have shown that it's not. That if you have an acidic diet, it will be more acidic. If you have an alkaline diet, it will be more alkaline. But over the span of 5 years, a study showed that there was no effect on bone fractures or density as far as if the urine was alkaline or acidic. The main claim, a huge claim, is that when you have an acidic diet, your body has to balance it by taking calcium from the bones, and that's how you're going to balance the acidity in your body. Well, pH is not regulated like that. pH in your body is regulated mainly by your kidneys and your lungs, actually. And so the way that you're going to balance any off pH is through your kidneys and through your lungs, and not with alkalized water. So the urine indicator, it's not a good indicator of health as far as the pH of your urine. There's a theory on osteoporosis and the acid diet. It really has more to do with vitamin D. If you have low vitamin D, your body is not going to absorb calcium, magnesium, and phosphate, which are really important in the calcification of your bones. So in order to really study the effect, they would have to take into account, all these studies would have to take into account the dietary exposure to calcium, magnesium, and phosphate. It would have to take into account vitamin D levels, and the studies have not taken that into account, so we really don't know where that lies. No accounted for intake. Another thing is that high protein foods meats are supposed to cause acid in your body. Well, it has been proven in numerous studies that a high protein diet with low vegetable intake does contribute to osteoporosis and poor bone health. But high protein with a high vegetable diet leads to bone health. So it's not really the protein, it's the balance. And we're always going to come back to that. It's the balance, it's the variability in your diet. What's on your plate? If it's any one food that's on your plate, you're in trouble. You should be having a varied diet. And that's what it comes back to again for bone health. So you may say, well, pre-agricultural people, 87% had an alkaline diet. Sure. Of course, because if you think about the whole caveman thing, you've got hunter-gatherers. They're eating mostly fruits and vegetables because that's what's there. Fruits and vegetables are not running away from them. So they're going to have meat, but they have less of it. Fine. But you also have to take into account that the diet of any given culture depends on their location and their proximity to the equator as well. You have the Maasai in Africa and the Inuits in the north, in Alaska, for example, and their diet was very meat heavy, and they're also healthy. They also have a good record of health. And the truth is that if you're going to look back on what you should be doing in your diet, looking back 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 years is not the way to do it, because these people were not known for their lifespan. Fine, but people in the Paleolithic era didn't have as much cancer, didn't have as much heart disease. Okay, fine, I'm not going to argue you on that point, but if you look at their lifespan, they didn't have as much opportunity to have those issues either. So it's not really a valid argument. There are too many confounding factors. We need a lot more research to determine what we should be having. But it does always come back to whole foods. So back to the bite size, what you should take away from this. The acid alkaline diet, the alkaline ash diet, whatever you want to call it, advocates real whole foods. Thumbs up for me on that one. The language behind it, the science behind it is bunk. So why don't we just come back to Michael Pollan's quote, which I'm always coming back to: eat real food, not too much, mostly plants, because that's really what our bodies benefit from. So here's my big disclaimer. This information, as well as all information from my Naptime Nutrition, is meant for the general public. It's not meant for specific disease states. If you have a specific disease state that you're dealing with in your family, I might be able to help you. I can likely direct you to someone else who can, and you can feel free to contact me directly. But the information that I give is without seeing your medical chart. So you shouldn't say, I need to follow this advice for me. This is just general information. So that being said, come join me next week for a fun topic: baby-led weaning. How to include your toddlers and older children in food introduction for your new infant. And that will be next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Arizona time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. in New Zealand. And find me on Pinterest, pinterest.com/Yaffi. Facebook, you're already right here. Join me next week. And Instagram, I've been a little more active this week, so I'm trying. And if this was helpful for you, if you found anything useful here, please give me hearts and stars and laughter or whatever, and share with your friends. And I always love your comments and suggestions. And if you have any suggestions for future Naptime Nutrition topics, please feel free to comment below. I love hearing those. Thanks. Bye.